Thank you so much for joining us for our next episode of What's Up Downtown A-Town. We are talking with various businesses from downtown that are moving into the area and have new and exciting things happening, and we want you to know about it. So today joining me is Dan Hiles with Kettle Brew House, and he's brought some friends along, another Dan, and then Dave behind him, who happens to be his brother, so we're going to talk to them today about what is happening down there. Kettle Top is not new
Correct, yeah.
to downtown Anderson, and you are right on Meridian Street, right next to Dickman Town Plaza.
Mm-hmm. Kettle Brew House came in December of 2016. Been there obviously just over a year now, and so Kettle Top was kind of the first phase, first idea to kind of bring craft beer, that whole market, that spirit, that vibe to Anderson downtown. And then the kitchen also we talked about with the brewery coming up, Creatures of Habit Brewing Company. We can kind of elaborate on how that kind of is working, but that's the new thing kind of going on at Kettle Brew House right now, is that we're able to now open Creatures Kitchen right next door to us.
So you started out with Kettle Brew House, and then you moved to Creatures of Habit is the name of the brewing company, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you threw in some food with that, so that's pretty exciting. So there's a lot going on as we speak right now, and yes. I know that you're exhausted. You guys have been working hard down there. So tell me a little about each of your roles. Introduce yourselves and talk about what you guys do.
Well, I'm the brewer, also construction, and pretty much anything else that needs to happen. We just do take up roles as they're needed to be taken to get the whole thing going. But we've brewed for a couple of events. Last year was Anderson on Tap,
right,
which was a great success. Got a lot of good feedback from that. And
Dave, what do you do back there?
I do whatever I'm told, pretty much. Sometimes I don't listen so well, but this has been a sort of a dream of me and my brothers for a while now, and we were lucky enough to meet Dan, who just happens to be a great brewer. We're excited about the opportunities that we have here in downtown Anderson, and I don't think that we could do it without the help that we've received from the people of Anderson.
Well, I know that everyone is very excited that you're here. I know when you first opened, people pretty much just knocked each other over to get into your bar. It was needed, and you filled a little spot in the market that would definitely needed filled. So what has it been like for you this first couple of years?
It's been great. I mean, there's obviously, like you said, yes, I'm exhausted, but all the hard work, the hours, and the things that kind of go behind the scenes too. My wife Callie, she kind of has been the backbone to get us off the ground and going, and to always be there to help too. And so she's pulling double shifts, working twice as hard as I am. So she's got to be even more exhausted. So, but as far as the kind of to take a step back and just see everything, it's been tremendous. Like the support has always been there. The city has been great. Working with the mayor's office, yourself, anybody in the media relations, it's just been phenomenal. And so we couldn't ask for anything better to kind of welcome us to a new venture of ours, let alone downtown Anderson. And so when we came, there wasn't that type of niche going on. Being downtown, kind of having that boots on the ground. Now we're kind of rooted, and it's great because I still have customers. Awesome patrons that have came in since day one that still come. They're in the Mug Club. They're sharing stories every other week about, hey, I remember when you used to have, this table and chair in here. I remember when the place wasn't even painted, or it was just, you were just getting going. So it really has. It's been an awesome experience, and it just keeps rolling. And the support is great. We've got great friends. And really, I think the key was that, like you had said before, kind of not having it there, building that market was key for us, because that's how we can segue into that brewery. I don't think that, and I'm not saying that Anderson isn't ready. I'm not saying that the people aren't ready. It's just the fact of when I first opened up, everyone was kind of like, what is this craft beer thing? And having the brewery come second, it's perfect because now, like Dan said, you get people to try your stuff. They get a firsthand, walk through tasting your beer and seeing if they like it.
It's almost like you've established trust.
Yes.
With
yes.
Kettle Top, and people are like, okay, I'll try what you're bringing in next.
Yeah, and it's cool to see that because that's where I myself got started. Into the craft beer world was, going and trying and kind of. I'm not sure I like that. That's a little too dark. That's a little too light. That's not what I'm used to. And all of a sudden you're loving every beer you try, and you're trying new different combinations, and so it's cool.
Kettle Top has evolved from just being a bar, to now you have a mug club, like you mentioned, and then you have live music, you have comedy. Talk about the different things that you offer.
Yeah, and that's a great point you bring up too. Is we've always kind of wanted to be dynamic, and we've never not wanted to do things and be more involved. It's just been, who is involved with the business, who can actually extend themselves to do all those events.
Right.
And so in that first year, it was tough to try to make sure you're paying the bills, make sure,
it's all new.
things are, are going in the right direction. And so with the comedy, that's something else too. There's so many, I have a list of people in my head that I would love to even thank because, Kyle Buck, he approached me months back, and him and I have talked over the months about doing different events and things like that. And the same with other people too. And the comedy, now that you mentioned that, was a huge success. And so that when I first came to do kind of live events, entertainment venue, I talked about doing comedy, but didn't know where to go.
Right.
Didn't know how to go about it. And Kyle was like, "Hey man, I'd love to help you out. Let's talk and see what we can do." And so we got it booked, we got it packed, and I had to unfortunately turn people away to just do the fire code. So it was
the very first time.
Yeah. So for the very first
for
official
you.
comedy showcase, it was a huge success. And what's great is that you get that local talent, people who are like, man, I don't really want to go to Indy. I don't know if I could perform on a big stage like Crackers or Morty's or a bigger comedy venue. Now you have one in your hometown. You can go and you can just have an open mic on a random Wednesday and
and have your friends there to support you.
Yes.
You're among family in the community. Good for you. And so then your live music. I know that I've been in there where I've been like, hey, that's my buddy Ed. What do you hey.
Yeah.
And that is really cool to have local talent up there as well.
And that's what we're all about too. Is that I don't nothing against anybody that's outside of that region, that area, but we have a ton of local talent in Madison County and Anderson and all around that. Anybody who's interested in playing that wants to get out there, to kind of better themselves on stage performance, or there's even students who are going to school for music and stuff. They're like, hey, I don't really have a band together, but I'd like to come sometime and just see how it goes. And we welcome that all the time because that's what it's all about. Is that everybody has to start somewhere, and why not be in your own hometown? So.
Okay, so then Creatures of Havoc came to be. So tell us how that all happened.
So I've never been downtown Anderson. I've been living in Anderson now for 3 years. My wife Amanda is a native. I mean, she was from here. Yeah, and then I took her away to Baltimore, Maryland, and we lived there for like 15 years. So, and then we came back, and I was like, man, there's nowhere to get a good craft beer. And I didn't know where to go, what to do. And then I saw on Facebook is Kettle Top Brew House, and I'd never been on Meridian Street before last year, But so I went down and met Dan and Dave and the people he's gotten there, Callie, and it was just a nice atmosphere. Got really good beers on tap, and I was hooked. So I went in there all the time, and then Dan brought me in on the Creatures of Habit side, the brewery side, because I've homebrewed for 10 years now. I'm not sure exactly how long it's been, but I've homebrewed a lot. So Dan had an opening, he needed a brewer, and so we partnered up with Dave and started the Creatures of Habit Brewing Company.
That's awesome. Hey, tell me how that name came to be. I just think that's a really unique name. What happened there? Was it decided over beer? Is that what happened?
A lot of the conversations go that way.
The good business decisions all came out of that 3 a.m. beer.
Yeah. There you go. 3 a.m.
Yeah.
it's unique because you can use it in a lot of formats, and I think the biggest thing is when you're talking, especially in the craft beer world, or even beer as it has evolved, as most things have, and will continue to do. But you do become a creature of habit, and so that kind of stuck with us, is that you want to get out of that. I'll kind of give my perspective from a Kettle brew house. Kind of being the only craft beer avenue at the time. Of course now we have a couple more options, but we have some really, really cool stuff we'd like to introduce you to, see if you like it, see if your taste buds may come alive on something different. And so I think that's what that was brought about, because that's the idea behind it, is we want you to get adventurous, to to really see that there's a lot more out there that you're missing, and that was huge to us. So
we want to be able to offer you all kinds of different things, just broaden your palate, brew interesting things that you just habitually come back for, because it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll have to pardon my ignorance. I mean, I drink the beer, but I don't brew it. I don't know how to do that. So what does that look like?
You make the mash, they call it, out of the barley, which extracts all the sugars from that barley, and then you boil it and you put hops in there. The hops, like seasonings in pasta or sauce or whatever, just add the different flavors to the beer and bitterness to balance that sweetness. And then when you ferment it, you're using yeast to turn that sugar into alcohol and CO2, which is a byproduct as well. But so you just have tanks, big tanks, that you boil it in, and you soak the grains in, all that, and then you have fermenters that stainless steel fermenters that ferment the beer, and then bright tanks and kegs, and then you can get it on tap wherever.
So how long does it take from beginning to end?
Beginning to end, it depends on which style you're brewing. If you're brewing something light, you could turn it over in 2 weeks or less.
Okay.
But if you're brewing something that's got more alcohol by volume, and it's a darker beer, it just takes longer for those flavors to meld together and finish out. So you could be up to a month with some things, or even if you're going to age it in oak or some kind of bourbon barrel or wine barrel, you could go 6 months with some beers. Your basic beers you can turn over pretty quick, but specialty ones may take a little longer.
From Creatures of Habit, you were going to couple food in with that and provide food for folks who are interested in coming in.
Yeah, in a great way.
Yes.
That's something else too that we had planned on doing from the opening of Kettle Brew House. We wanted to have food. We wanted to have great food available. There again, it's kind of awesome to sit back and see. Anderson is alive, and it's so energizing and it's so exciting to see this and to have another food option. And so when we came down to the business plan. Business plan had the full kitchen, organic foods. The plans before were to have 2 acres of farm on the land we had looked at before. Everything was going to be from basically outside to inside to your plate. I mean, it was really cool setup. But even though that didn't work out, it's still, how do you evolve and still make it work and create an awesome menu that people want to keep coming back for? And so we there again, conversations with another Andersonian, somebody who lives here, grew up here, went to school just kind of across the way is Kari. So Kari Smith, we were talking over some beers, of course, during one night of karaoke.
3 a.m.
And it was definitely before 3 a.m. Yeah. But either way, in that conversation, it was, hey, I've been cooking for many years, went to school for it. Really haven't considered anything. Because there isn't nothing unique like that. I'm working and cooking for somebody else and not myself. And so simple conversation was, what do you think about doing your own thing? And so one thing led to the next. We talked with Dan and Dave, and we're like, let's give it a shot. We got to have it. And so we now currently have a full service restaurant in Kettle Brew House. So Creature's Kitchen opened up. Like you said, it kind of blew up. It was unexpected, because we were going to have the full service restaurant at Creatures of Habit Brewing Company at 1031 Meridian.
Which, explain to people where that is.
Okay, so
versus where Kettle Top is right
yes,
now.
I would love to, because a lot of this conversations happens every week, and it's great. But on Meridian Street, obviously, as you're coming down to the 1200th block, that's Kettle Top Brew House.
Right.
Right before, prior to that, you have a parking garage. At 1031 Meridian, we are right next to Hoosier Press. It is located at 1031, and that's where the brewery's going to be. Full tap house, brewery tours, everything, the whole nine.
That's awesome.
Like I said, our plan was to have food there, and it's just that, just so happens, this unique opportunity opened up. We thought, what the heck, we need it. We've been wanting it. Let's get it going. So now we have great food, great menu, and we had a huge response from people already. So.
Yeah, and you're not kidding about the menu. I saw that online. I was like, what the heck? This is huge.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. So talk a little bit about what you have on there.
So we have everything from, if you're looking for a lighter fare, with salads or just a lunchtime sandwich, it's on there. You've got a huge fan favorite currently is the waffle battered chicken sandwich. What's unique about that? It comes with sweet potato fries, and there's a couple of special ingredients from the chef, that kind of
top secret.
Say, wow, that's amazing. What is that? And so, of course, it's top secret. Yeah, kettle top fries, loaded fries.
Yeah, good.
It's all
And
good.
then
it is.
we have beer battered chicken tenders with creatures that have
That's
a beer.
awesome.
Yeah.
We have beer cheese and pretzels, or
That's a huge
mac
hit,
and beer
yeah.
cheese, which is with creatures that have a beer as well.
Yeah, that stuck out to me.
Yeah.
The beer mac and cheese.
Yeah, it's creatures that have a beer. The porter is what's
Yeah.
in that. So it's
Okay.
And in the future, we're coming up with some cool sauces. We're going to reduce down some of the beers and make some neat sauces
That's
and dips.
great.
So Kari's real creative back there with what he's doing, and it's the flavors that come out are just amazing.
Will the food move over, or are you going to keep it at Kettle Top once the Creatures of Habit is done?
Yeah, what's at Kettle Top now with the kitchen? I mean, it was just a perfect opportunity for us to get going with some creative food, because our partners are with Kettle Top, so it kind of helps both of us. We get our name out there and also help them with the food side of things. But we plan on running food up to the brewery. You'll be able to order
That's great.
from the brewery up there. But in the future, we'll have a full kitchen up there at the brewery as well. But it kind of relieves us at this point not
Yes.
having to build the full kitchen right
Yes.
away.
Well, I heard you mention that you moved back to Anderson. I think you moved to Anderson a couple years ago. And I don't know about you, Dave. What?
He's working on it.
Good. So you're in the process of moving to Anderson. So explain to me why. I know and think that Anderson's exceptional, and it has this really great energy to it, and the energy is starting to rise, and you can hear the crackle almost of the energy rising.
That's a big thing for us right now that I feel great about, is we're kind of getting in on that ground level
Yes.
of this rising that's going on in Anderson. I mean, a few years ago, after all of the auto industry left, I mean, it just turned into a ghost town. And more businesses were shutting down than were opening.
Right.
And now you're seeing a lot more industry coming back into the area, so of course more people moving in, and a lot of startup businesses going on
Right.
downtown. So I mean, it's an exciting time to be in. I feel like Daniel's done a great job with the Kettle Top of showing the community that a business can thrive down
Yes.
here.
He's
Yeah.
biased.
Yeah, we trust him 100%.
Well, yeah.
And
I'm giving him a compliment on camera just so I got
I'll take it. There we go.
That's it. You're never getting
One
another.
time.
That's the one for 2018. I'll take it. I'll put it in the pocket.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Like we moved back here. It was just, I've always liked coming here and visiting. Like when we come visit family while we were living in Baltimore, and it's just there's so much around. I mean, you have mounds.
Right.
What is it? Shady Side. The trails over there. My goodness, it's like it's beautiful, you know. And it's like there's this stigma that we just have to get rid of. That Anderson isn't worth anything. It's worth a lot, man. Anderson is. There's so much to do, and it's just getting better. And better and better as time goes on. So while we're opening these things, Dan's running Kettle Top, and we're getting creatures going in the kitchen. We're reaching out to anyone else that we can help to make downtown better, or Anderson as a whole better.
So initially, why did you choose Anderson to invest?
I have to give huge thanks, which I know some people may deny this, but I have a huge heart and thankful for Nestle for coming here, and I say that because I wouldn't be sitting here in this seat with these two guys and yourself if it didn't, because that's really what gave me kind of the leap of faith to come to Anderson. And so I was at Nestle for almost 10 years, and really I love not only the job, the career, but like you said, there's so much to do here. And my wife and I moved here 2 years after I started Nestle. So I've been here going on 7.5, almost 8 years. And so it's like, for me, the move made sense for the job, but to stay, to invest, to really stay. This is my home. This is my new hometown. Was very easy because there was really so many. To your point, to everyone's point, auto industry goes out. All of a sudden, it's tons of negativity. And working at the newest factory in Anderson with the people that most likely had left that, like I heard it every single day from tons of people. And so it at first was kind of like, man, I don't understand what these people are talking about. I love my hometown of Jonesboro and Gas City, but that's like a sixth the size of this. Like, you kidding me? This is, I can spread my wings a little bit. And so I didn't really, like I said, understand the negativity and all that, but then I realized how many lives were affected by it. And so, I do have compassion, and I do have, sympathy for that. And then I have to take a step back and say, I'm taking a leap of faith, and so should you. Everyone else,
well said.
if Mr. Small, Dan Hiles, believes in Anderson, you better believe yourself. And so that's, for me, it was a no-brainer. Yes, of course, I could have easily lived in Noblesville or somewhere else and worked, at Nestle and Anderson. Just commuted. But it's like, no, I want to invest in this community. I believe in the city. And looking back now at all the years and seeing all the changes, a lot has changed. A lot has happened. I mean, there's, I think NTM is coming in as I was leaving. So you get a whole brand new, another factory there. You've got
now NTK, GTI,
all that.
Expanding.
More and more business,
they're
more and more
jobs.
Faster. I mean,
I tell Polina hasn't opened and they're expanding already.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think
good.
Any opportunity I have for somebody that's, whether it's considered negative or just simply kind of, they're less hopeful, I have a great conversation with them, because I'm like, here, I can name you off my hands.
Right. And I think that's so important, that you stop people in their tracks and kind of redirect them to seeing exactly what is happening in Anderson, what the reality is. I think people kind of get stuck in negative thinking, and you do have to just kind of.
It's just easier. It's just easier to sit back and give an excuse than it is to dig deep within yourself and do something. It's so much easier just to go along with what you heard last week. You know what I mean? And so,
if you're not happy with the town you live in, do something about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Why complain?
Yeah. Get rid of the apathy. Yeah.
Correct. So it's exciting. We're in an exciting time. I mean, it's.
And what advice would you have for folks who are thinking about moving to Anderson?
Get here, pack your bags, come on down. No, I think that just because I don't have kids myself, I can't kind of speak to that type of movement as far as schooling and stuff, because that conversation comes up too, and it's like, same thing. We do what we can to help and support. I mean, we have 2 fundraisers we're now doing this year to support school systems, to do whatever we can to help. And I think the more and more people that see that can invest in those things that make you want to move to Anderson,
Right.
to relocate. And the biggest thing, really is caring about your current situation. So whether it's just you and a couple, you and your spouse, you have a full family, my biggest thing to advocate to them is that we're on the rise and there's so much to do, so much going on. Ask what you can do to help and support.
Right.
And it'll just work its natural way, because I think too, with the and don't quote me on this as far as the numbers and stuff, but I know there's more and more housing becoming available, and especially downtown, and that's where
Right.
you see in a lot of bigger cities that the downtown's thriving. There's places everywhere. A lot of those people are living, and they're constantly patrons and customers to these businesses, and that's what keeps them alive. And I can't wait for more and more to
Well,
be
the
able to
Tower
move
Apartments.
down. Yes.
They're working on the Tower Apartments right now, and that's going to be a great place
Yeah.
to hang your hat and call home.
And that's the thing too, is when people, especially investors, especially people who see kind of the bigger picture on the growth of the city, when they see that things are thriving, they see that people are taking that leap of faith, and it's successful, and they're making it happen, they're more inclined to do bigger and better things. And it's just a awesome cycle, because before you know it, 3 to 5 years from now, we're like,
Exactly.
how did this happen?
Yeah, and now is the time to invest, to get in now when housing market's great. You can get a great house in Anderson for way cheaper than anywhere else.
Yes.
One thing we realized when we were searching for the spot for our brewery was there's a lot of out of town people that own property in Anderson. Like, they see that it's going to have value one day.
Yep.
So we were dealing with a lot of out of town people making offers, and
Right.
they see the value. It's
Right.
coming, so it's time to get in.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Any final words? Hey, but what we do need to say though is your hours of operation, so people could get in there. I know you mentioned lunch, that you have lunch hours.
Yeah,
And I
so-
know lunch and dinner, right? So I want to make sure that people know.
So that's going to change, and I guess I can go ahead and kind of make a pre-announcement, I guess, on behalf of Kettle Top and Creatures.
It's
But
not
we're gonna
3 a.m. yet, so
Oh, right.
I can't make a decision.
Well, you're not coming back at 3 a.m. this morning, so do it now.
But we're gonna try to do we're not trying. We're going to do a customer appreciation event the end of this month. I won't tell you the date just yet, but that's going to be on behalf of Kettle Top, and then we're also going to do a grand opening for Creatures Kitchen.
Love it.
So that's going to happen in this month. But until then, to your previous question, yes, the hours, we're currently not open for lunch.
Okay.
That will change once the grand opening happens. But we currently are open from 4:00 p.m. Until 9:30 p.m. That is Monday through Wednesday. Thursday we have karaoke. So there again, it's 4:00 p.m. but it's until about 1 a.m. And then on Friday we open 1 hour earlier, so it's 3 p.m. until roughly 2 a.m. And the
That's
same for
great.
Saturday. It's 5 p.m. until 2 a.m.
So they can find you on social media where?
Kettle Top, you can find it obviously on Facebook, Instagram, and then we have the same setup for
Right, Facebook,
Creatures.
Instagram, Twitter, which is not so much done on there, but
Yeah.
at Creatures
We're not busy
Brew.
tweeting yet.
At Creatures Brew.
Yeah.
On all three, yeah.
Ours is Kettle Top 16.
Thank you guys again for being here. We really appreciate it. And Anderson, thank you for your willingness to continue to support our new local business and join us downtown and check out all of the new places.